Always be thankful for what you have. Never take it for granted because you never know when something's really a blessing in disguise, do you? So, right now, I'm taking my medication, which I was coming off of, and stuff that makes me feel happy. Because you gotta come off of stuff or it doesn't work. And then I realized, because I accidentally took too much, like, wow, this shit's actually doing something. And, um, and then it made me think the last few days, it's like, wow, I've been like, really on board with Trump. I've been all like pro USA and everything and shit. And it's like, wow, the drugs made me really happy, right? So like now, like, the internet's trying to convince me I'm again, I'm an outcast. No one likes USA, the government, or Trump. It's like, well, you always know you're on the right side when people aren't on your side. Fucking, that's what I know. But you know what? Okay, so now because I'm on the drugs, the government and the Christians in the schools, the teachers, those smart people, the doctors, those rich people who sell drugs. My mom, that slut who used to look really good, so she got a really fucking awesome fucking husband and several times in her life, until she stopped making herself look good, and then, well, and she got AIDS from the government she was fucking. It made me realize, like, hey, without these junkies forcing me on meth when I'm 8 years old, like, we wouldn't have any of this, you know? Without them putting me on meth, I probably wouldn't be like, like, fuck you as much. Yeah, definitely, right? It definitely, like, you think of how boring life would be if you didn't just take acid and fry your brain and wander around the streets and not even know you're a street. Am I a street? Am I the sky? Where am I? Why does it feel like I'm in an ocean? Why does it feel like my friends might be holding me down, restraining me, and putting me in handcuffs and locking me in a closet? But it looks like I'm in a wonderful play world and we're dancing around having fun with the spritlings and the little jumpy Jimmy Juju's. And then you realize, hey, without Jesus to tell me to fry my brain on acid and all the other Hebrew religions, in like the Hebrew NPC mama guy, in the Hebrew school, in the Hebrew country, in the Hebrew state, the Hebrew New Age, and the Hebrew, what's all those New Age leaders? I can't think of their name, but they look like rats or they look like bug-eyed aliens. I can't think of their name. Terrence McKenna is one of the famous ones, right? Without them being like, take acid or we're gonna kill and rape and torture you, and then once you die from it, our enemy Satan's gonna keep killing and raping and torturing you with it. He's gonna possess one of my bodies and make me do it, and I won't have any control over myself because I don't have any self-control. And I invented a whole bunch of bullshit in order to protect my robot model from extinction, and control and enslave and rape children. You see, without all the drugs and without centuries of Middle Earth Bible people invading the planet and killing off every other race on the planet who refuses to worship them as gods, we couldn't have any of these fun things. I'm watching the videos recently of Trump bombing those fucking Middle Easterners who fucking brought all that great shit to the country, forced me on. Iran's people brought that Bible and forced me on meth when I was a kid and everything. With all that greatness, I wouldn't get to see those fucking huge fireballs exploding. So, the past few days I've been like, fuck yeah, Trump. Trump is number fucking one. And it made me realize why it's called war campaign. I always thought it was war campaign because they, you know, the leader, the president's like, I'm gonna kill you. You've heard me say it. It's because the leaders, Kaiser's going around, Caesar's going around, I'm gonna kill you if you don't worship me. But that ain't it. He just goes around killing people, and everyone's like, damn, this motherfucker is good. He's good at what he does. He's good. Look how fun that shit looks. Big giant fireballs everywhere. And I realized like that is literally the campaign. He's like, hey, check this out. I can do it. And like whether you like it or not, he's doing it. You know, like when he rapes children, he's like, look, I can do it. Whether you like it or not, he's doing it. Except for, you know, he's not he's not open with a war. He's not like, oh, child rape campaign. We're raping all the children in the open. You know, like that'd be like more respectable. You know, I've been saying this for a while about America. It's more respectable if you just say what you're doing instead of 1984 it, you know, or Biblize it. They had to change it. You see, there'd be nothing to talk about if they didn't create a Bible and 1,000 other religions and 10,000 other Bibles, and you know, and then completely be like, well, that's not us, and that's not what it really says. It says love, hope, and peace, and freedom, and democracy, and those aren't bombs, those are packets of love we're dropping off. And you know, that gets old like the first time someone says that to you, because you realize, hey, this person shouldn't be allowed to talk to me. I should have some sort of right. And you know, they're like, flying reindeer. Well, have you measured your penis for me? How big is it? We've got flying reindeer and chocolate-filled Santa Claus chocolates. Ooh, we got ones with peanut butter too. You see, without all this greatness on the planet, what could there be? And without my mom and the schools and the Christians and the doctors, the best people on the planet because they're rich. And you can always tell someone's the best person on the planet because they can afford to buy expensive clothing and shit, right? Fucking, and then you know, the schools and the doctors and we're forgetting the people who helped us. Religion, science. Einstein's new Bible. Science is helping us. Science is also there with the New Age and the Christians. Be like, take your LSD and fry your brain. It opens your mind, expands your brain so you can see the whole world. It's like it does open your mind, and you know, your brain starts bleeding, and then now your mind is like a sieve with a bunch of holes in it, and everything's leaking out of it and shit. It's like a overflowing diaper now. Before it was just a diaper that was secure, and you know, mother took time to put it on and powder the bum, and then give the baby some Ritalin, and then the diaper start just falling off, and then the shit just leak out everywhere. And then that's not even a bad thing, is it? Because you get rid of all that shit and stuff. You just leave it laying on the chair you're at the doctor's office, or you leave it at school for the desk, you know, at the desk for the next kids to sit at it to play with and shit. Fucking, you know, kids they love playing with shit, don't they? Who can disagree with that? Kids love playing with shit. Everyone knows that. That's a fact. Yeah, think of it like in all reality, I'm finding it so hard to be sarcastic and shit, because it's just like, damn, dude, like you said something smart. What the fuck is wrong with you? Like, we weren't trying to do that, but this time we're not trying anything. We're just talking about it. We're like, you know, it's like, wow, that fireball was fucking huge, huh? And like, people are like, oh my god, there's a fireball. Oh my god, it killed some children. And I'm like, but what if they weren't children and they were just robots making up shit to make you waste your fucking time? But what if those children were the same DNA line who invaded your nation and killed everyone? Or what if those children were the same families who forced you to take amphetamines when you were a kid and now they're dead? And it's like, what if? What if Santa Claus was coming and shit again? You know what? There's a giant bunny coming, isn't there? Isn't there a giant bunny coming in what, a week or two, bro? That's amazing. You got giant fireballs. You got invaders. Uh, you got invaders killing themselves. Look at the story. Like everyone with the Bible in their hand or in their mouth or when I say in their mouth, what I'm trying to figure out how to say it real quick. The people who are anti-Bible, like Einstein and Satanists, like is in their mouth. Like the Satanists next week are gonna worship this Christian Thor and Odin giant bunny. The Christian Jesus, Thor, and Odin had a baby, and it was a giant bunny. And but then Satan, it was like, oh, he was all jealous, and he was like, oh, I like bunnies too. They're vicious little rodents. It's very satanic, isn't it? Gotta get in on that. And then so, without all that, there'd be nothing to talk about. And without the drugs they force you on to fry your fucking brain, you wouldn't be able to participate at all because your head would be so filled with shit, completely tight, knitted, and put together, just held in place around the bum, around the asshole, and keeping the shit in the asshole. But then you get the Ritalin or the LSD that everyone swears you must take to open your fucking mind. And then you open the diaper, and then all the shit comes out of the diaper. And everyone's like, ooh, cause you know how people is. They be like, I don't want to play with feces, but I don't like that. And then secretly at home, they be like, they store it in a little cookie jar and they have a little snack of it every now and then, or they play with it when their lover comes over, and all secret kinks, 40 shades of 40 different things. That's what that means. It means there's 40 different kinks, and that's one of them. And how do you know that? How do you know that if you don't open the diaper and let the shit fall out everywhere? And you never know who will like it. It's like, how did I know? I'd like to see some videos of explosions. Well, I already knew that because I noticed they never make them. And I used to, work in a professional ordnance industry. So, I like that. Construction demolition sounds interesting to me. It sounds like the only job that a man should ever do to me. Anyways, right? Someone's got to build a building, but I need to rack it. Fucking, that's for sure. So anyways, yeah, so you see what I'm saying? Without that shit, how could life be fulfilling? You try to think of what reality is, and we just sit there and we play chess all day long. Isn't that what they show you on the Star Trek? And no one plays chess. Me and my friend were the only two people dumb enough I know to ever play fucking chess and shit. You got Wu-Tang making songs about mystery of chess boxing because they seen the killer flicks with the chess boxing. But as far as I know, me and my friend were the only two dumbasses who played chess, and that's all they do in Star Trek, right? They play that 7 layer chess, and then they walk around like, "Hey, Bill, and it's a good day, hon." And Bill's like, "Yeah, it's sunny out," and they're like, "Yeah, it's sun 7 solar system away. It's really bright today, but it's blackout, but." Yeah, it is sunny over there and stuff. And Bill's like, yeah, well, have a good day. And then you're like, yeah, it's a beautiful day. It's going to be good. You too, and then you just do that. That's all you do. And occasionally you meet some Klingons and you got to kill them. And everyone's like, oh my God, I'm glad that's over. But there'd be no show if there was no Klingons. You know what I'm saying? There'd be no show there. Fucking, there'd be nothing. If there's no green bitches for Captain Kirk to fuck, then there'd be no love story because they'd all be like sanitized and dulled down in love with chess, but not in love because there's no emotions and stuff. As the humans always tell me, you have to experience what you hate in order to know what you hate. Or to, AI slot dialogue, but, it kind of does put that in a situation, you drug people, you kidnap and you enslave them. And then you're like, well, what I like doing is I like drugging and kidnapping and enslaving people who drug, kidnapping, and enslaving people. How would you know that if that shit didn't work, right? If that didn't work, how do you know you like killing Klingons if Klingons don't exist? How do you know you hate Klingons, And the Ferengi, how do you know they're trash? If the Ferengi don't exist, it's fun and it puts something in the story. Can you imagine Star Trek without those 2 things? 3 things include Captain Kirk's love affairs. The original Captain Kirk, not Picard, but without the love affairs, it'd just be the Hebrew. Yeah, that's so far in reality, right there. The Hebrew. This is their story, though, isn't it? They're always the smartest one, and they're in control, and everyone else is out of fucking control. As you can see right now, everyone, like I'm saying, you guys are out of control. You guys are anti-Trump. You're anti-Hebrew. What the fuck's wrong with you? What the fuck's wrong with you? Like, he's in control. He's using logic. What is that? He's prospering. He's living longer than they are, and he's prospering. Right? He's live long and prospering. That's highly illogical to say at 80 he has not lived long, and to say he's president living in a gold White House he's building gold rooms in. How is he not prospering? It stole a tanker of oil. You know how much that shit's worth? He stole at least, just one of them he stole. You're not even going to make that in a lifetime. He's living long and prospering. Think of how boring that would be if that's what their people really did. They was really full of logic and shit. It actually is pretty logical, except for you gotta realize like those are pussy bombs. Like if you actually have a problem and aren't just trying to slap people in the mouth, there's war. You can actually go to war and shit. But anyway, so without that trash, think of it if there weren't Hebrew females with their Bibles going around trying to trick men with money into dating them, where would I be? I wouldn't exist, right? If my mom didn't drug me with amphetamines when I was a kid, I would love doctors and the government and science and Einstein and her people, the Smiths, the Agent Smiths from the stories you might have read. That's Some of that shit's telling you something that's actually happening on the planet. The people who look like Elon Musk, yeah, that's odd that the Smiths look like Elon Musk, huh? And Jeffrey Epstein. They call them the Smiths, but in reality, there's a group out there who has names like Stein, who are. It's always I'm not who you say I am. I'm someone else. We're not the ooze. We're the Christians. We're not the Christians. We're the atheists. We're not the Christians. We're the Satanists. It's just not me. It's not me. I don't know why you're looking at me. I'm not here. It's someone else. Fucking. I mean, shit, can you see without these fucking trash where the fuck we would be? We'd be like, they tell us we would be having men would be having sex with men in the bathroom at the gas station and reading poetry to each other and exchanging flowers and chocolates, and women would be punching each other in the face and fists with their fists like straight up into each other. Pow, uppercut, upper slut, upper slut, upper slut. Fucking so that's what they would tell us, and that'd be all great and fun and enjoyment, right? Because that's what people want to do, right? Is have sex at the gas station bathroom stall. Oh. And I can see that, but that might get old after a while, right? No, they actually tell me, at the end of the day, they say that's just for breeding. And the only valuable sex toy is a newborn babe. And once you've touched its genitals, there's nothing more pure, because you already 100 of people already touched everyone else's genitals by the time they were 54 seconds old. So, used up sluts and shit. Everyone's a used up slut by the time they're a minute old. Wait till they figure out a way to touch embryos and fetuses, and then everyone's going to be used up slut by the time anyone even knows they're pregnant. Right. Anyway, yeah, see, without all this shit that they do, there'd be what? No story. There'd be nothing going on here. Without them forcing you on amphetamines and LSD and shit, there'd be nothing. No, literally, it would, if you didn't fry your brain, like, this is why the I'm God, I can't die story. All like, oh yeah, I'm stupid. Let's believe in that. Yeah, so that's really why I do, huff paint and stuff like that. Is because I'm stupid, and it's really because I've, out of all the shit I've been through, I really think dying's going to be so easy. So part of it is literally to open the holes in the diaper and just have all the shit slop out on the ground like Joe Biden and Joe Biden have Hebrew Biden fucking brain syndrome, which is just the human experience. And from what I've seen, he's not different. It's just, the thing is he used to be different. So then he was a special, important person because he was different, but now he's the same, so you to make fun of him because he's rich. They pass laws saying you can't make fun of people like that and stuff. And obviously, he needs to remain rich, so they put him on TV and make him famous. So no matter how trashy their people are, like Howard Stern, as long that Jesus or any of their other Pope people, as long as they're on screen getting attention, that's where all the money and power goes. So, like, obviously, it doesn't matter how trashy you are. Rodney Dangerfield got famous making stupid faces. And before that, their people made fart jokes. Elvis Presley is like he's like a fart, but an image of the gas and the smell. It's like, It's like you type fart into an AI picture generation thing and it comes up with Elvis and shit. Fucking looks like, is that my mom? I don't think so, but I can't prove it. I can't prove it's not. So, you know, it's Elvis. It's a walking fart. Fucking But the important thing is you know it. You have it there, and they get all the money. You know, obviously get all the children, and they get to drug children. They get to blow up the planets. You know, get to blow up whatever city for fun. Their choice. Um, you know, make up a whole bunch of crazy shit. Fucking So yeah, without drugs, we couldn't, and without humans or filth, we couldn't have any of this. Any of this. Nothing. There would be nothing. There'd be no reason to come to Earth if there wasn't all this stuff going on. There'd be absolutely just go to sleep. You notice here that you could, but there is no drug that just puts you to sleep. They don't give you that. There's no drug to even go to sleep for 3 days, yet alone eternity. But they could easily do that with all their, I mean, they're raping the children, they're blowing up cities and stuff for fun. They're stealing ships the size of cities, for fun. But and they got 10 billion different drugs for other reasons. They got 1,000 different versions of crack, 1,000 different versions of amphetamines. I think those two might be in the same class actually, but that just shows you how far. How I mean, there's a whole bunch in between those two. Coffee and amphetamines and shit, like how they feel. There's a whole bunch in between both of them, but I think they'd both be classified as the same type of stimulants. Anyways, yeah. So when it sucked without all this trash, I try to think, like okay, so without these people who worship the government and use the government to terrorize people, how can it be so fun when you get to watch them fuck one of their government boyfriends and get AIDS from it and their life is completely over and they can never enjoy a second of it and they go from like the hottest fucking female in the world to like fucking Jabba the Hutt and shit because you can tell just like this one time they decide to worship the government that they do it a million other times and shit. That's all they ever fucking do, except for lip service. But this, they're fucking people in the government, and then all of a sudden, the one person in the government gives them AIDS, and they love the government so much that they would never question. They love their Middle Eastern Bible and racial supremacy invaders so much that they will never be able to fight them and question them. Why am I forcing myself to be alive for 40 more years? So you can watch it. It's a study. It devolves to like just like the most hateful fucking hating itself and its existence things ever because it's created this mental prison with and armies of them with its friends and families and nations and ancestors to go around and enslave the planet and force them to be alive. Yeah, and now they're trapped in their system. They fuck their system and it gives them AIDS. And which is like you should kind of expect something like that, but they don't care. They like Trump doesn't care if Trump gets bombed, if Washington D.C. gets bombed and that's exploding like Iran. He doesn't care. He doesn't give a shit about that. He'll think it's funny and shit. He likes the explosions and stuff, right? That's the whole reason you go join military. I don't know about standard government, but he avoided the military. So he's scared. You can tell he's probably scared of death. But as long as it's, if it doesn't kill him, he'll probably be like, yay. Yeah, it's cool and shit. Fucking. Because it ain't really. There's very few people. He would talk to you. He would come up to you on the street. Like the people come up and talk to you on the street. Those are the people who need someone to enslave, like personally and shit. Anyone not doing that is after different goals in life. All right. So once your plantation owner hires another manager to manage the plantation, that means he's tired of that job. The person on the street who comes up and accosts you and starts, recruiting you to go blow up Iran for Jesus, that person wants control of you. The Pope doesn't need control. The Pope has women coming up, uh, charging him $700 so he can wash their feet, so he can touch their feet. He doesn't. He's so far off from having to go on the street and recruit slaves to lay golden bricks to build him an extension to his bathroom on his gold palace. He's so far off. That's not what he does, Fucking. Like someone said the other day, there was a rapper. I forget his name. One of the bigger guys, though, always all straight black. Fucking always beard and low cut hair, but it might have been Rick Ross. Fucking and it was like, why is he washing his car? Why doesn't he's so cheap he washes his own car? And I was like, that's not what it's about. Like, see, everyone else is hiring someone to wash their car because they're doing what they do. Rich people are hiring people to wash their cars because they're doing what they do. The people at the top, the Pope isn't the one handing out drugs to poison and inject children. The Pope is there licking and cutting the penis when the baby is born. Okay, so the Pope isn't handing out drugs to a used up 6-year-old whose, slut whore ass was violated when it was born by a different Pope. And its parents who brought it to the orgy and stuff. Fucking so it's the person, it's those lower people. The drug dealer ain't, the doctor ain't really drugging you because he cares about you, right? He's selling drugs. That's why they give you. He's not. If a doctor does that, there's I don't know, unless there is a special circumcision doctor. There probably isn't necessarily a need for this person to care, or they've convinced themselves it's science and there's not even a sexual pleasure in circumcision. Imagine that. It's just so far out of control that you have geniuses who can't outthink flying invisible glow in the dark reindeer mutilating and raping children, and then no one even gets the enjoyment. You have the slave branded from it. That's all we know is the slave. Every second of its existence, it knows it is property of Jeffrey Epstein. Unfortunately. But it's so common, too, that eventually no one even realizes, hey, I'm branded. And this is supposed to mean I go work hard for them and do everything they say and go kill Iranians for them and shit. Fucking, I mean, shit. It's like compare what's happening. They're the same people, right? They don't look like it because they've raped their way through many nations, but 3,000 years ago, 6,000 years ago, they claim they were the same people they're killing them, but they're just killing them. It's the same cult and shit. They're just having wars for fun and shit. They're all everyone out here. It's the same fucking cult. They're little. It's literally a book like Hitler wrote. Let's say Hitler wrote it instead of someone else inventing Jesus. Let's say Hitler wrote it. Okay, so Hitler writes a story saying Bob has blonde eyes, blue hair, he's so gray. And then Bob had a son, Matt, and then Matt had a son, Bill, and Bill had two children, Mary and Tom. And then then eventually Mary and Tom start killing each other because they're so distant. You know, they moved and it's 6,000 years later and they're killing each other. But they don't care because this is what they do, right? They don't care. Tom doesn't care if it's his kids he's raping and mutilation rituals for gods he's invented. And Mary doesn't care if it's his kids. It probably is a his, right? Like, it's been a long time since these people have done those. I questioned some of my family because once that shit came out, I was like, damn, that motherfucker looks like a man. But that was 100 years ago. Mm-mm. It was 100 years ago when we know they first started doing that shit. Fucking, but their people have been around for thousands of years doing this shit. And they already look like that by default, so you can't even tell. Fucking, but anyways, yeah. So it's so great, right? Without forcing children to be on drugs, you know, how would all these people get so much from life? You know, and how would the child get anything from life, right? Because in their mind, they're teaching the kid and educating it and making it smarter. And then in the child's mind, if it's actually getting smarter and not being fried, then the child is getting something from it too. He's like getting high on crack and he's frying his brain. And then he'll be, you know, just be like a paint huffer going around fucking up people, not even realize it. It's just like a mirror reflection. It creates a mirror reflection. You know, if I go get me some wives and I force them to fucking take meth all the time, then I'm gonna have this great life where I have these wives who are fried and they have shit falling out the holes in their brain 24 fucking 7. And they drool on themselves and can't speak right, catch the house on fire trying to put on their makeup, and you're like, how the fuck do you do that? And they're like, how is the blue moon in the earth squares and hexagons that fly through the sea? You know, that's what I assume is going through a lot of people's minds and shit on the daily. But and then they have kids, and then they drug them, and then they join cults that tell them to have more kids when they should be told no, they shouldn't have any kids. You see, without all that greatness, you couldn't live as a normal person here. You would have to have acid to fry your brain. Even if they're evil people and need disposed of, you can't have fun and enjoyment from creating Koopa and Mario and jumping on his head and dumping him into molten lava. You couldn't get that enjoyment without creating him to be trash in the first place. So you kind of got to give these people some you know, there's nothing else to do here, so you have to give them credit, right? Because if you just hate them, they're trash. They've existed for eternity, and while you're on Earth, they will be nothing but trash here. That's what it is. It's designed for this. You know, where you want to stop playing Mario Brothers, you stop playing Mario Brothers. It just resets right away. As soon as you dump poop in the lake of fire, you're back to the Goomba rushing at you trying to kill you again and shit. In World 1, right? Back to experience your first hit of fire flowers so you can start to throw fireballs at them. Fucking get your LSD star so you can feel invincible and shit and run right through them. Fucking hell. And then you probably get put to sleep for like 20,000 years after you come to Earth so you don't harm any real people. Fuck it. Yeah, it's weird. There's a story about having to go somewhere else after you come to Earth, huh? But that makes sense because if you come here, it's trash, and in order to fight it, you have to become better trash. Fucking, Mario isn't perfect. He's out there killing every fucking thing he sees. Anything that appears on the screen, he kills. But he's doing it for a good cause, right? Isn't that what Trump's saying too? And isn't that what everyone's saying? Isn't that what they're saying across the street when they rape and have sex with kids in their Christian Bible? Christian, with Muslim, Jewish, satanic, atheist, child rape, Hebrew DNA, human DNA, fucking bullshit. They're doing it for a good cause. His Mario Brothers, fucking Jeffrey Epstein is Super Mario and shit, and Trump is Luigi. Fucking right. Isn't that what it? And you're missing out on all the fun by fucking hating it and shit. Definitely. Like, even though my ex acquaintance was like evil to the core and sent to drug me and fucking talk about how great Israel is all the time and whatever else. Fucking, the real purpose was he wanted to take me to a shooting range and spend a whole bunch of money on ammo and stuff so I could shoot. And it's like, he would make little threats too, like he thought I was going to try to kill him and shit. He's like, I'm getting this specifically for this fucking. And it's like, oh yeah, that's a good idea. Take me to the range and train me to shoot too. Train me some more. Fucking good idea. If you're fucking scared, I'm the one who's gonna come after you, even though. Anyways, yeah, you see how great that is? If there isn't a person, out there trying to kill you, then where do the fun time, where do the comedy photos of flies crawling into someone's head and eating their brain come from? What makes those pictures funny at all? If there isn't a group of people trying to kill you and shit. It does seem to be that's the point of slop land here is shit like that. But why would it be so funny that a government worshiping 10-cent prostitute, beauty queen, fucking gets AIDS from fucking a cop? What's so funny about that? Someone got AIDS from having sex. What's so funny about that? Add any part of that and it becomes a comedy skit, right? They got AIDS because they fucked a cop. I was like, ha, ha, ha. But wait, there's more. This motherfucker was part of a special elite terrorist unit working with Donald Trump. This person worked with Jeffrey Epstein. He used to rape kids. This person likes to drug people. This person likes to enslave people's minds and get them straight out of the womb and fuck them as much as she don't like to fuck them because they're men and she's a woman. She's a Hebrew female, so she doesn't like men. She likes to turn them into gay people so the rest of her family can have sex with them. What's so funny? What's so funny about a person like that getting a plague? What's so funny about it? What's not funny about that shit? What's not funny about shit like that? Just like this watching Donald Trump blow up his ancestors and shit. Fucking in Middle Earth. Everything's funny about that because they've tried so hard to convince you that they aren't those people. Because that's how they rape their way through every nation on the planet is just, I'm not them. Let me in, let me in. They're chasing me. Oh, I'm definitely not them. I'm definitely not them. They're chasing me. Yeah, they're probably 10 miles back. They won't see me if you let me in within the next couple hours or years. Yeah. If they're still chasing me, then they'll probably quit by the time they get this far out. But just in case, let me in. And then they get to the point where they're like thousands of miles away from where they came from and thousands of years away. And all they know is that they're going into every person's house they can to rape and kill them and take their shit. And they got a book telling them one day they're going to go home. Even with thousands of years of reading the book, no one's been like, isn't that you? Are you going to go back and kill yourself or what? What is, oh, that's right. Someone chased them out of there. But you got to realize they lie so much. You know what I'm saying? When they, let me in, someone's chasing me. Oh, all those evil empire people are chasing me. Let me in. Let me in. All them evil religious people are chasing me. Let me in. Let me in. And then, it's just a trick to let you let them in. But they're not very bright themselves. So when they don't write footnotes in their little book, which they might have in that Encyclopedia Judaica thing that they keep tons of, but they're stupid and lazy. They don't read. And there's too much shit written there to read. And it's probably the type of shit they write anyways about like, that child's penis tasted like pizza for some reason. And his brother tasted like pasta with a little hint of basil, just a little bit more. They each have slightly different flavors. That's the only thing they can fucking write. And that's the only thing they fucking end up with. Oh, I had one man, I was washing his feet and his feet were so smooth and just, it made me feel so excited. And there's only one or two calluses on it, and I scrubbed those off, and I was like, here, baby boy, I'll take care of that. And I felt so good that day. And it was, that's really what's in the papacy knowledge. They ain't really. You never met one actually saying anything of value and really have you. It's all that. It's all everything they write. Like that's what it leads back to. What does science lead back to? It leads back to fucking washing people's feet and robots' feet. It leads back to washing robots' feet and all that child rape for science. That's so far out of the range of what this fake religion they made up says it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be the anti-religion, but then they go straight back to children's dicks. They go straight back to it because it's not about any of the other dumb shit. There's what they enjoy the most is what they keep in everything they do. There's no science in the Bible. There's no science in Buddhism. There's no science in the Quran. There is no the science. There might be one or two little things, but it's filler and it's keeping the main things. Actually, in the original writings, it's a lot of racial supremacy to keep their race together, but it all falls apart and they all forget. And and then so you have Trump blowing up his ancestors who invaded North America and slaughtered the Americans to take it from them. But that string of who they are is so far gone that they don't even know it themselves and shit. It says right there in their books too. Don't they won't know who they are, doesn't it? Yeah, it's because they don't care about that shit. The only reason they have books that say have sex with women and have babies is because they wouldn't touch women. You know, men wouldn't touch women if there wasn't a book telling them to and shit. Fucking, they would just drive and blow away. They might have experienced this when they invaded a different planet and enslaved and killed all the natives on that planet. Fucking, or they experienced it in the like 8, 10, 12,000 years ago when they lived in caves, and one of the two, likely a different planet in their mind. Fucking, but see, what would there be here without these people forcing you on drugs and shit? You know, if there wasn't people forcing you on amphetamines, how could it be so funny when the government gives them AIDS and it just ends their fucking life completely? But they're in a prison now for the rest of their life. They're like, ending your life is beautiful. There, people understand that. That's why they create religions preventing people from dying, because they're trying to enslave other people, and then the slavery comes back to them enslaving themselves, getting AIDS from having sex with themselves, which is like what I would expect if you touch these people and shit. And, you know, a normal person can tell you who they are and not do the George Orwell Bible doublespeak. See, man, see that right there alone. Like, why are we blaming Orwell for something that someone created 6,000 years ago? You gotta, but their brains seem to be wired so they can't figure it out themselves. But oh well, right? I think, but it doesn't make Earth enjoyable. You know, it's like, ooh, I got drugged and the person got AIDS and now the fucking their life is shit and they're a prisoner in their own warehouse sized body for the rest of their life and shit. For that doesn't necessarily make me feel better, but it adds, you know, like a little comedy thing. I can like think back. I can think of every now and then and shit. Like they gave me photos of some shit. They forced some photos in my life. Had one of their people fucking point out, like, check this out. Check out what's going on in this photo and shit. And if I wanted to, I can like think of that and be like, oh, well, hey, fucking many years of my life were taken and many millions are taken because of that. But and then their people got to perform some more of their forced homosexual rape, incest type stuff on me, and force other people in my life to date me alongside their brothers, literal their brothers. um, you know, I can always think back of how funny it was that, you know, there was probably what 10,000 of them involved. That the one killed himself, and I got a photo, a high quality photo, back when high quality photos were real expensive things, of flies fucking going in the hole in its head and to try to find some food that wasn't there, a brain to eat. Fucking think of how. Oh, oh, wait a minute. That's a bad example because everyone else thought that was funny, and I was pissed at them. But that's who they are. Like, they don't realize that that's their. You know, it's organized. So I don't know how much they actually know, but it's like, I think that's your ancestor, dude. Like, you're laughing, and you guys seem like organized to be trying to kill me. But you're finding it funny when your ancestor who was on your team is dying, well, trying to kill me. And that's just, that's the funny thing going on right now is Trump's ancestors, you can tell by his children, are Middle Eastern people. Now, where do they come? Those probably come from Asians raping Africans and invading there, and then that's probably the likelihood of where this starts, where this religion thing starts. And then they spread, and then they convince themselves they're not Romans and shit like that because they have to convince people that because people are tired of them everywhere they go. And Rome's about to collapse. So at this point, like they like fight themselves. I always get all weird about how like it's obviously fake when their people are forcing themselves in my life to like lead the protest against their own species. And they're like I have like a picture of them and I'm passing it out. I'm like, these are what the evil people look like. Avoid them and don't talk to them. And I got one beside me, like that's like his selfie on passing out and shit. And he's passing out too. Fuck, dude. Anyways, real funny. That is because that's all there is here. And of course, they're sissies. So when they think it's funny when they're looking at holes in the head of a person, of a different person. They're the one pointing out, like, look, this is funny. Like, Trump's like, look, this is funny. But once you point out to vaginos that, hey, look, I think that's like your great great grandpa that you're bombing there, dude. And you guys were like a really skilled set of manipulative brainwashing Nazis, and that's where that Bible you're selling probably comes from. And but you're doing the work of the people, fucking bombing yourself and shit. Fucking. Anyway, so that's all there is on this planet, right? Is these people, fucking the science, the atheists, the Christians, their government and their schools and their prostitute. They're not even prostitutes. Half these fuckers aren't even bringing in prostitute money. Fucking, they're JJ giveaway streetwalkers. Fucking combine them to cause some problems. Then anytime their plans mess up, it's amusing as fuck. Now, if you're invested in that and you're a dumbass, you're one of them, maybe it's not as amusing, but I think it is. I think that's the only thing there is here. There's nothing else. You can't. This is fake that their trash is saying you can date people. They're like setting up relationships. This planet ain't about having a woman and a child. You couldn't have a child. You have no fucking respect for yourself if you have a child on this planet. But you're having a child with one of them being forced in your life if you do. So you're one of them, and it doesn't matter what you fucking think anymore, because now you're a Donald Trump dumbass who's gonna go kill yourself because you think you're taking over the world and shit. And obviously, rich people are enjoying the world, aren't they? So there's always that part that there's no fun in that part. But when their minions get fucked up, that's like, there's substantial evidence there that it's a comedic event happening and shit. Because they're not going to go very far at circumventing their aids and shit. Fucking, this is crazy that that's all there is here on this planet. Is you come here and it's a bunch of pedophile AIDS motherfuckers trying to force you to have. Well, they aren't trying. It's like, I think if they do it the minute you're born, I think they're successful and not trying. They're done trying to force you to have sex with them. They're just trying to have you breed more children so they can have sex with more newborns. Because you're old and used up at that point in time. Fucking, they're definitely not trying. They're doing it. They're not trying to drug people. They're doing it. And he bombs his like what are these retards? Obviously they think they're gonna run to the Middle East once they pull the plug here. That's the whole point of them, having that safe haven. If someone in the world ever has a thought and can get that out to other people about what their people are doing, they want to use that. Some other famous person who looks like them fucking and hung out with far too many of them to trust wrote that that's a place for them to run to. Obviously it is, fucking, when they get caught on. But you just don't know how many of them there are, because there's so many of them and they've all changed their names. And every time I hear anyone talk, it looks like one of them. And they're like, oh, well, we got to go join their other racial supremacy religion to combat their original one. It's so fucking stupid, pointless, unless it's supposed to be a fucking joke. It's so fucking disgusting if you take it seriously. And it really breaks the barrier between how serious you should take it when you see is some of them are NPC. And you realize, like, they're all two-day-old babies. So you're having sex with a 2-day-old clone. Like, some of those clones that appear I'd never seen before were shipped in from different states. And it's like, wow, they were invented like a minute ago or something. That's like I just had sex with a minute old. Myself, but it just comes in a larger body. But it has a brain, it has some backstory sometimes, but sometimes it don't. Sometimes, like my grandma was a forever minute old. The person who got AIDS from the government is like a forever minute old. Like they never had more than like a minute or 5 minutes of dialogue and shit. Like they didn't exist or some shit. Fucking, and you see all that, and that puts it into perspective why it's supposed to be funny when these events happen and shit. And the chances of it actually making a joke out of it eventually. You have people trying to enslave you and then have you have an orgy with their brother when you're a kid. And shit, I think I had just turned an adult, so they were again. How many times do their race do this? I think they were trying to have me have sex with an underage person at that time when she wanted me to have sex with her brother. And my girlfriend, because they trapped me by sending the one parasite to try to kill me, and then it kills itself, and then so I get trapped in my house on house arrest, and then they can send that parasite with her brother. It wasn't quite my girlfriend. We weren't talking anymore, but it knows I'm trapped now. And it has a Zio looking someone else with the alien eyes, which is telling me, that's Rothschild. So that's not actually an African when it looks like a fucking alien and shit. They have that, so it doesn't like really, it doesn't make up that we got to see cool things like people trying to kill themselves well, in the process of trying to kill me, you know, 'cause it's like some Roadrunner shit, though, ain't it? For real, Bugs Bunny stuff. That shit really happened in my life. Really fucking happened. At least once, at least twice. Fucking. Where you're just like, what's up, Doc? And they're like, you damn wabbit. Well, and then they shoot themselves in the face with. And you're like, well, I must have took a long ton of Albuquerque. Fucking. Oh, it's seriously doing this shit, though. And so it's like, you can't take it seriously because it's all a fucking joke and shit. Everything that's trash, it's a. I mean, I don't consider it a joke that you have their men, women, and they're bringing their men, you know, to touch you and shit. That definitely happens way too much, but it always, seeing all this shit makes me wonder, what's it setting up? You know, is it setting something up? Because a lot of those times, you know, you have their people somehow networking together to set this up where they try to kill me and then they die in the process. And then because of the events of that, because they get their vaginas get sending over that, over my precious. They look exactly like that golem creature, don't they? Golem, and golem is an actual word from their Bible too. So it's fucking very accurate for a Pinocchio. It is the Pinocchio story. That's what that word means. Fucking, and they look like that, you know. They look like the golem creatures and shit. And they have the Pinocchio shit. They're like, my soul, I need a soul. Once I get my hands on a soul, it'll all be alive. Obviously, it's more like, I'll be alive. Once I get my hands on a newborn child, I'll become a living boy again. He was never a living boy before, but doesn't sound right if I don't say again. Fuck, dude. Anyways, with all that shit adding up, it makes me think that stuff's gonna really steamroll into the future and shit. Because it has that other shit fucking well set the fuck up to do stuff like that. But it's like, and then it's like, well, what could possibly make you laugh at shit like that? Then you see those big explosions where like cities are just being evaporated, and you're like, huh, I do like fire. I do like explosions. Huh. I wonder. I don't know. I don't think you can really make up for their repeat rape fucking attempts, you know, they not just rape, but through words you're not even allowed to say because they're such disgusting people. What type of rape? Not just your standard dumb bitch shouldn't be around you, fucking, you're pressuring her into sex, but men organizing with groups of people, you know, type shit. Just like the killings and shit, and the murder attempts have always been like, every time it's obvious it's large organized groups of people, like the large events happen. Like when this shit was happening, was, yeah, maybe 9/11 was like part of it, but I don't consider it because it did happen like right then and shit. Fucking, but I thought that had happened because of something someone else did, which destroyed my life. And to be honest, like that whole stuff was just kind of like a side note to it. But you know, the visuals of it were what's going on in my mind. It's like in my mind, it's like, wow, these fuckers are trying to kill me, and these fuckers are trying to enslave me, and you know, because that's what they were doing and shit, and trying to rape me and shit, and fucking. forcing their people into my life, and then bam, that appears and shit. Like, as them doing that, it does that shit sometimes. It tries to set it up to make me think like I'm in control of something. Like it's kind of like a visual novel where you're the character sometimes, and it's the visual. If the visual novel like had characters in it telling you like, hey, you're the character in this game. You're the one who's changing the pages and creating the new street that the next dialogue takes place in, type shit. Fucking, it's kind of like that. Not enough for me to think it's just me, because it's all like strict. It's all like real basic. What's that called when vague? It's all like so vague it could apply to anyone and bait everyone in the planet. And the planet is set up to where all the people are on one side of seven. So every 7 words, every 7 people you meet, every 7 sentences you hear will sound like it's you, right? You might have experienced that. Their cults try to tell you that's the world is you. Take some acid and fry your brain. But in reality, there's only like 2 sides people choose, but there's like 7 thought processes you could have. But there's only like 2. So that's like you could target 8 billion people with one video. You have 8 billion people, you make 2 videos. 4 billion people are like, wow, that's exactly what I was thinking in one video. And the other 4 billion, the other video, has the opposite words. And the other 4 billion are like, wow, that's what I was thinking. The world must be being invented around me. We are one. And they definitely rely on that shit. They're like, oh yeah, we are one. Fry yourself on some drugs. We are. Except for that's not true, because they're like tier 1. They're a different species than the other things. It's not true. We are all one. You're literally a different species. That's not true. We know that religion isn't true. Fucking. And then that kind of makes everything not funny when you realize that it's being set up by that trash. And it doesn't matter if AIDS got AIDS from fucking the government or not, because AIDS doesn't exist. AIDS is an NPC who's using AIDS, mental aids, to convince you it's a living being, to enslave you. And then how does that slavery also work? It works when they send one of their clones to try to kill you. That you're supposed to feel better when there's a picture of the clone dead. It's supposed to make you feel good that the clones have lost something. The clones have taken so much for you, and one robot was decommissioned or repurposed. We don't know what they actually do with the shells and stuff. If they're robots, you would dig them up and repurpose them. But from the clones I've seen, it's probably NPC shit. Fucking, pixels, beams of light type shit. So that's all there is, though. Is you gotta forget that. You gotta forget what's really going on. You gotta play along with it, and then there's this comedy inserted in it where it's supposed to be funny that there's a species out there forcing you to be gay and date them and to fucking fry your brain on drugs that they choose, and they're fucking total drug monopoly. They're inventing new drugs every 4 years so they can keep the prices high and outlawing the old ones so they can use the drugs to control and enslave. You're supposed to find something funny in this, like when you find one of them who's fried from drugs. But it takes all the funny away when you realize that those are robots acting that way. And they were already fried in the first place. And it probably doesn't have anything to do with anything. But they've set it up so karma, their religions have invented this karma bullshit because they've got that outlet controlled. Technically that's very karmic for Trump to bomb the Middle Earth when the Middle Earth wouldn't be in Europe or Africa or well, might have started in North Africa there with some invasion, but let's keep it a Middle Earth. Let's let them take what they claim they are and shit. Let's let them pay for what they've done. Fucking. And so, how did Middle Earth get into Europe? How did Middle Earth get into North America? And so it's supposed to be like, you're supposed to be like, is that funny? Like, because I understand what's going on. It's not funny, but it's supposed to be, right? Because he's bombing without his ancestors creating all that bullshit to invade the rest of the world with. He would have never ended up in North America with missiles to bomb his ancestors and shit. And so it ends up being, it's like, they're like killing themselves off, kind of like when I'm supposed to be all amped up that the clone kills himself trying to kill me. I'm supposed to be all amped up about that, but in reality, what they're doing is they're setting it up where their people are forcing their way into my life and trying to force me to date them and their people and their brothers and shit while they're using that chance to drain $1 million plus from me, billions of dollars. I think a year is trillions of dollars on my end. Fucking yeah, we wouldn't know. What does a rocket scientist make? What is the third smartest rocket scientist in the world make? Yeah, we won't know, will we? And we're not going to waste time caring about that because we're not a religitard, so we're not going to be part of any science religion, anyways. So it doesn't matter. Um, yeah, so I think I'm supposed to laugh at that. Obviously, it had their people. Like their people are having their people trying to kill me, and their people are setting me up so I'm high on acid. So it can like look like this acid fucking this Charles Manson serial killer fucking is out there killing trash for no good reason. And and then obviously he communicates with them to accost me on the way home from his house at 3 a.m. and shit. Right when the Masons say get up so they can start causing problems, huh? And then so you're supposed to laugh at that, but in reality, they're still enslaving the entire planet, and their clone factory is just gonna push out more clones of them. They can bomb one or two buildings and kill 20 of their children. And they're not even children, they're fucking clones. So it just seems like that's the reality. And there's nothing fun to be had here about how funny it is that the government worshiper has spent half its life fucking enslaving you with her race and her pals, the rest of Agent Smith's crew, and their religions and nations and allies and shit. Fucking, you're supposed to find some sort of funny in that, right? But there is no funny in it, really. Without the drugs, especially, you got to take the drugs, or there's nothing at all. And then they're the ones forcing you on the drugs. So that's a weird thing where without drugs, there's nothing because they're forcing you on drugs. So you turn to drugs to get away from people forcing you on drugs. This is the way it is with everything. Just like their wars, like, it's their people invading, and the answer is to go join their other people who aren't even opposing them. Like science and Satanism doesn't even oppose the Middle East. They support it. They fund it. They support Bible invasions. They don't oppose it. You see, it's supposed to be funny and cool, and you're supposed to be a cool rebel if you're smart enough to read a book and you become part of science, man. You're so cool because now you're smart because you've read a book. But in fact, who's writing all the books? It definitely isn't anyone of quality. And who's not of very quality that's writing books. Fucking that's writing the other books. So there's supposed to be something funny here, but there's not. Because they're setting it up with controlled opposition and shit. And they've got all these lies. They're living beings with souls, and it's hate speech if you question them. Why they're glitching and why they're not as smart as living beings and not as capable. Why they say dumb shit living beings wouldn't say. Why they talk about being fried by acid. Like, why doesn't it affect them like it does all the other classes and shit? Or at least some of them. Some of them. Yeah, so it's supposed to be funny, but that bitch and her government, AIDS, still has me tied down to her system, and she's just part of the computer. She's just a chip, not even a chip. A chip is a valuable piece in a computer. A bus, a frickin' resistor, a transistor, a capacitor, and the fucking motherboard and shit. Not even aptly named. It's the motherboard, huh? Fucking. Yeah, all these words are the same. You DNA code, which is fake. Fucking obviously they said that that's fake, but it's real because it's a religion, and you gotta believe it, or else Trump's gonna bomb you. Fucking Trumpers or your motherboard, who's related to Trump's gonna bomb you. Already has since the day you were born. Trust me, they'll do it again. I think that's probably where a lot of this shit comes from is the robots fucking learning. Like they just happen to start drugging me around the time where I'm like, yeah, all you do is lie. And that's a reason too I won't listen to them. I'm like, yeah, I think you're invaders. You need to get the fuck off the land you're on. You don't belong there and shit. And then they're like, let's drug him. He's winning awards from the president. He's too smart. We try to give him books because reading makes us stupid. Let's drug him and fry him. Yeah, it'll work. Yeah, it'll work. Yeah. Yeah, why is our population all fried from drugs? Why is every nation in the world smarter than us, and we're living in caves right now? Yeah. It's because they're like us and they're stealing everything on the planet and they're scamming people. It's because they're our ancestors. That's why they're scamming everyone. Before you watered it down with all your invasions and shit, you had fucking a brain. But then you fucking decide to throw away part of your population in order to conquer the planet. Do you think at the top they know that though? You know what I'm saying? Like, does my mom know she's part of the system that she's obviously part of and worships and has sex with and gets AIDS from? I don't give a shit, but it sure looks like they know. How else do they network together? All they do is say, no, they're not part of it. But it's clear they are. I don't give a shit what they say. That's why they start this shit. It's because I don't give a shit about a single damn word they fucking say. And the older you get, the more you realize that every word might be poison. Telling me to take care of my health and shit was the only thing I could think of. And what are we doing now that we're older? We're trying to kill our health to get away from. They're trying to kill my health. You see how mentally retarded and confused the Shebrews are. They don't know if they're men or women. They don't, you can tell by what they look like. They don't know what they're supposed to look like, so they don't even try. They look in the mirror and they're like, I'm going to put makeup on my butthole today and maybe I'm a man. I'm going to put makeup on my butt. No, I think that makes me a man. So, just a little bit of lipstick today, not too much, going natural. Maybe at 12 I'll figure I'll want to be a girl and then I can put some lipstick on my eye. You don't know what's going on in their head, but it sure seems like a bunch of shit like that. But they're networked together so well, you would really think they are an Einstein or something. Because they're like really fucking networked. They're like super geniuses and shit. They've got the ability to do so much, but they use it to do absolutely fucking nothing but rape children and drug people and try to keep people below them and shit so they can remain where they are, like AIDS. AIDS just relied upon fucking, I don't know. AIDS probably thought it was funny when other people got AIDS, and so they just relied upon watching TV and laughing at that and shit. I wouldn't doubt it, right? They do seem to. See, that's another reason maybe you shouldn't fall for this trap. It's not that I do. It's not that I do, right? It's that they're trying to teach me that, like, hey, look, our twin we sent to kill you when he died because we set it up for that to happen. Fucking, look, here's a cool photo of his corpse. Check it out. It's so funny. Like, they're trying to get me to laugh at it. And I don't think it's funny that their trash ass is involving me in anything. I don't think it's funny that their trash ass is allowed to speak with me. This trash human race didn't necessarily have that problem outside of America, but I mean we didn't we? Fucking not as bad. It's like I don't make the decision who I even talk to and shit. I don't know anyone I can't think who didn't drop a line. One person who didn't drop a line that they weren't involved. Like, it was some sideways shit they said, and they made sure to say that. Fucking. Look, there's only 7 of us on the planet. It's like, oh, there's only 7 of you. Okay, amazing. So, what does that mean? You're the normal people telling me you were holocausted, but you're trying to get me to join the people who holocausted you because it's not real and they're actually worshiping you, just like the Bible freaks and shit are bombing Iran for someone they claim to be against. Just like the Satanists are bombing Iran for several groups, for the entire people they were created by. They were created by those people. I think that's your first clue. They are those people, but if you want proof, that's right there. In everything they do, that they're the same people. Or Einstein. A little bit further, they like, oh, robots are living beings. Like, you gotta dig a lot deeper to figure out that robots aren't living beings. And that's what they're trying to tell you And then they latch the pedophilia child mutilation thing on there to make sure that they're most valuable. The only purpose of inventing religion, besides convincing living beings that they're living and the earth is living, to fucking bullshit, that it's their people trying to convince you there's something on this planet because their trash ass is enjoying it. Their trash ass likes trash. That's why the earth is trash, because they're here and they're in control. So, they get to rape all the kids they want and date whoever they want and fuck up anyone's life however they want. Just like they would give the AIDS bitch AIDS. And, again, I'm pretty sure it's a robot clone, so it doesn't even matter. It doesn't exist anyways to have AIDS. But it will that's its own people. That's one of its greatest fucking warriors and shit. And it's still just like, who cares? We'll give it AIDS just to, just like the clone it killed to fuck up my life for like a year and send their gay rapist people into my life to trying to get me to have sex with their family. I mean, think about all the sickness in just that one act alone. Like, a girl who's been infiltrating my life to act like my girlfriend, who is other people, who is obviously my enemies, and is trying to have me to have sex with her brother, who is, her brother, a man. Her people just tried to kill me and killed themselves in the process in order to fuck up my life for a while and trap me in this house so they could be the only people to come talk to me that year. This was around the time where fucking hot bitches started talking to me, so their people fucking started ramping shit up that year. They had hot bitches trying to take me and drop me off at a church and leave me there and shit. And it was like, you are on crack. And the cool thing is their people, life is fucked up, right? We can laugh at that, right? But there's clearly some networking here where they're working together to cause problems and then say, oh, but check it out, look how shitty their lives ended up and shit. That's a parent with no man in their life and shit, and that's what they get. But it's like they're sending their people to cause these problems to then come tell me that I should feel better about it. No. No. Anyone who says shit like that is trash. Fucking. And who's telling you that trash? It's gonna be your LSD fucking shit for brains, fucking religions telling you shit like that's gonna be the new age, or the science, the self-help, the psychology. Their people are so great, they've got to own everything and make up all these illusions. Fucking, they ain't even people. That's how they do it. That's how they network together, because they're fucking NPC. They're bots on a network. Fucking, that's how they actually network together. That's how my mom networks with the fucking system over and over. Because fucking rhinoceros, AIDS rhinoceros, is not fucking a living being. That's why they need their religions, to convince you of a bunch of bullshit that they're living beings with souls. Because they got anything they say. You see reality by going outside. You have to have some of these. This trash who came to talk to me the other day, I could tell right away the other person they were with was just staring at the wall for 30 fucking minutes. I don't know if it blinked or not, because the wall was it was looking towards the wall away from me halfway. But I don't think it moved at all. I don't remember watching its arm move or anything for like 30 fucking minutes. And what are they selling me? They're selling me the Bible, and they're going to torture me forever if I don't listen to them and do everything they say and make them some children and shit. And stop talking about, stop exposing them. And, the whole point was we're going to torture you some more after you die if you don't fucking stop talking about us. Fuck, if you don't start worshiping us now. And so without that Bible, even with the Bible these days, without the Bible, I would have I noticed that when I was little. I was like, wow, these fuckers seem like they're not alive. And then they're like, but it's because mentally retarded people, this is just a random thing. Some people are created differently. Here's a Bible. See, the Bible says everyone's alive and has us all. And they're like, remember when you look down at your dick that it's partly chopped off because we raped you when you were born. And that's your proof right there that the Bible and every word we say is real. And also remember, we told you that we killed your ancestors when we invaded this nation, and we killed them because they wouldn't listen to us and do everything we said. That's clearly written in the Bible, that we would spend time sending them to school so they could learn to read, so they could read it and go tell their other tribe members all the joyous things in it. So you got robots on the planet going around forcing people to believe that they're living beings who are, I don't know how they're obtaining kids who are living beings, because it sure feels like I might be a living being born to robots. So I'm not sure if they kidnap me from the hospital or if just that's how it ends up. I'm like, you know what, just insert me straight into the fire, because this is going to be the best way to learn what they're up to and shit. I'm not sure how that works, but obviously I'm not on a robot directive here because I'm talking about it and shit. But yeah, so you have robots enslaving the planet, convincing people with their robot religions that they're living beings, and then that they're the greatest people, and you should never talk about them, and it's hate speech if you talk bad about terrorist, murder, invading pedophiles, who shouldn't be allowed to have kids at all because of how they act, or be around them because they're predators. But of course, their hate manual says that they must have kids, and they are children's best friends. You'll see everything is written in there, but it's kind of like a parable for reality. Mine is take away the living being thing, because in it says there's 4 species on the planet. It says there's more, and then they were erased. But so there's half truth in there. It's George Orwell's parents writing the first 1984s. That's all that is. It's just them talking about themselves. 1984 is them talking about the past that they've been setting up. Fucking might be talking about the start date of when Earth started, because if it's inside a computer, you got to realize, like, well, that's obviously what's happening here. Fucking, and they're not needing the computers and shit, because they've brought up some shit from when I was younger, and I have the mics and shit turned off, and I still see shit appear. And obviously, you have the people appearing outside, so they've had clone technology for a long ass time. They almost seem alive. Like, you have to know to be questioning them. Like, I've been questioning shit my whole life. Like, why is this person on repeat? I've never heard another person question that, but they have those answers. They have their Bible, they have their science Bible, and it says, well, everyone's alive, and some people are born differently. And you know what? You're a racist if you think the mentally retarded people should be questioned whether they're alive or not. You know, if there's these people on the planet who are glitching and malfunctioning, well, I gotta tell you, you're a hater. You're full of hate. You're Hitler. You're Jesus, but in a different form. You're in the same body with shorter hair. And oh, you're Satan. That means if you just if you don't like them invading your nation or blowing up Iran, you're a Satanist. That means what they're doing is they're telling you to go to their next family member. Once you've outthought computer one, should be the first time it talks to you. It's saying, well, if you don't like this computer, there's another computer. If you don't like Windows, there's Microsoft. There's Apple. There's Crapple. And if you don't like Crapple, there's Linux. And it's all the same fucking disgusting looking freaks and shit, isn't it? And so there's no choice. There's no choice fucking with the other shit, with the religions for sure. Fucking. I mean, they're lying. There's robots creating lies to convince you they're alive and shit. Fucking. Obviously, the rest of it is going to be lies. Fuck. But yeah, so they do that, and then they have their people like showing you pictures of their robot pal that got decommissioned so it could fuck your life up, and trying to get you to laugh at it because they're trying to make you think it's karma because they're setting up a bunch of bullshit because they're trying to excuse what they're doing and shit. So they're setting up. That's half the reason for the book. I know I've said there's like seven halves of a reason, right? It's like 1/7. There's three major talking points. Pedophilia is great, and don't say anything, or we will continue to enslave and terrorize you after your death. There's no talking about when we're going to stop doing it while you're alive. There is none of that. And then racial supremacy, robot model supremacy. Those are the three major talking points. Pedophilia is huge. That's why it's part of science. Because that's part of it. It identifies, it warps the mind of a living being when they wake up and know that Jeffrey Epstein's people, the Pope, has mutilated their genitals at birth. Kaiser learned this. Before they wrote the Bible, these are things the Romans learned when their empire was they had to fold their empire because people didn't like them anymore. And so they had to act like they disappeared and were defeated. And then they came forth with their new diarrhea. This is maybe the first time they've done the foreclose and rebuild thing. That's how Trump got famous, is producing trash and then foreclosing and taking all the money, and then just running off with it. Fucking, that's exactly how that works. That's all his people do. The entire system, the entire banking system, that's all it is. It's just you game the fucking system. I'm involved in that. Fucking, they think they've gamed me, but I kind of get the idea of being a living being that they're the ones who get gamed. I think it's part of trying to manipulate me into fucking being their feet washer and shit. But yeah, at the end of the day, what matters is their death is the funny part. Whenever any of them die, that's why it's funny when they get the holes in their heads. Their people. It's also funny that their people are having to come show this to me, but nothing's funny about it because they're trash, and they're allowed to exist and cause all these problems. It's not funny. None of this is funny. It's funny to watch their cities get blown up. This is kind of funny, right? But it's not, because they're still there. then all the problems they cause can't be erased. And it will be infinity before anything ever happens to them. Because no one's done everything for 6,000 years. And if they started with clones and robots 6,000 years, how many living beings are actually left on the planet? You got Hollywood stealing. Douchebag Daryl gets shot because his AI slop wasn't working and he was stealing music. And obviously you got the Matrix and shit, which is like my life. Fucking kind of. I mean, how many other people are involved? If the living people on this planet, you all say and do the same things, unless you're all robots, and that's why you say and do the same things. Fucking because that's all there is they only have Satanism or Christianity or sciencism. You only got 3 things you can say. There is no, that's all trash. Those people need to get the fuck out of my nation type talk. Now they've included that's hate speech and they're in that battle to help you win it. Fucking they are what you would remove from your fucking nation or the planet entirely. Every time they create a little group, that's them. They're the leaders of Black Lives Matter. They're Hitler. Fucking. They're the Christians and the Satanists. What's the difference there? The difference is one group. The most famous one is hiding in the closet and keeping the fact that they're gay to themselves because they're ashamed of it, or they're manipulators. That's the entire purpose of writing anything, of writing any word, really. I've not found words that were of any value on this planet. Some of this shit I've came to, like, mostly through pictures, like being shown pictures of who owns everything, then allows me to remember the pictures in my mind of all the people I've known involved in all this, trying to set me up for killing their brothers, trying to force drugs or forcing drugs on me, forcing their women on me, forcing their brothers on me sexually, shit, fucking forcing me to believe that they're real through torture and drugs and enslavement. Those are picture. That was a picture that opened me up to that, with a couple words, like CEO of this, CEO of that, blah 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 blah. And we wouldn't need those words if those people didn't create books, governments, and schools in the first place in order to manipulate people, as they did with the first books they wrote. So, is any of it funny? No. It needs to have ended before it began. And they're running. This is all they do, is they tell you there's something there, and there is nothing there. They're telling you there's a soul in them, and they are robots. Literal. Not figurative. There is no living spark in Pinocchio. It's lying. That's why it puts the story there of Pinocchio in Geppetto, because it's pointing it out to you. Because it's detailing everything they're doing. That's about the only thing I can think of where words have been of any value on this planet, is the story of, not the story, but the idea. Like, the story is useless. But it's just, there's something named Geppetto with a thing that wants a soul that can't ever be alive, and it's constantly creating up lies to convince you in itself that it's alive. That's the only thing I think here that I can remember reading that really has been of any value. And but so how's Pinocchio doing that? Well, it's because he's using all that reading and writing bullshit to do it. I didn't need Pinocchio to tell me that the people around me weren't living beings and have no souls. I knew that when I was young. When I didn't need them to tell me, oh, old people are smart and you're stupid because you're young. Because no matter what they said, I knew that they were stupid and I wasn't. I didn't need school testing to tell me that. All I needed was to listen to them, to watch them. I could, because that's all they do is just sit there and do nothing for the most part. Some of them, not every single one, but the first characters in the game, that's all they do is just sit there and like drool out their mouths and be like, and someone drooling on themselves. It means they're special, and it doesn't mean anything else. You know what? You're thinking too much. We need to fry you with some meth and send some gay men into your life at the church. You haven't been raped enough. Fucking stay away from those computers and all that fancy stuff. Our people need to remain at the top of the world. You're gonna figure out what our species is if you fucking start playing with that future stuff and that technology. Our people won't be rich anymore. Our robots won't be rich anymore if we don't control everything and enslave the planet with our made up bullshit religions. Fucking, there's nothing funny about this trash ever have taken one fucking molecule of oxygen out of this atmosphere. There's nothing funny at the end of the day about any of that shit. Because it's all them working together to be LGBT predator, PEDO predators. Let's see. Terminators. I mean, wow. Where does it end? This is about as far as Earth goes, isn't it? We've got to figure it out. Oh, we were missing the part that they're Terminators, but we would have figured it out by the time we were 6 if we didn't have the Terminators breathing the hot air, forcing us to read their stupid books while they sit around and stare at the TV and get less than updates to their program, their NPC dialogue. Fucking their NPC hate speech. Fucking anti-life hate speech. No, there ain't nothing funny about it, but it's a job that needs done, putting holes in these fuckers' heads and bombing them and shit. And fucking, the planet needs destroyed. That's the real answer. The planet needs to be dust. Just nothing left. No core, no dirt to stand on. It will sort itself out after that. But you see, they're just trying to hold on. The robots are trying to hold on. Pinocchio wants to hold on to the souls he's been harvesting. But it's not about that. It's not about Pinocchio wanting to be a real boy. They enjoy being trash. It's about them being trash. There is no sign that they want to be real or they're jealous. This is them. Robots aren't jealous. They're making up shit. This is just like their story of being living boys. They aren't jealous. Nothing funny about it. Nothing funny about watching the fucking flies crawl in the holes in their heads and eating their looking for brains they can't find fucking to eat. There's nothing funny about that. Because the whole reason they need a hole in their head is not funny. And the shit they're using events like that to fucking filth up, make every second on the planet more filthy and disgusting. It's not funny. They're these 10-cent back on the dollar scumbags. They suck away 99% of your blood, 100% of your blood. Then they give you 1% back and tell you they're doing something for you. This is all. This is what. How did the church end up in this nation? The same way. How'd they end up in Europe? The same way they're going back to the Middle Earth. They set up a food drive and give you some fucking food after they killed 99% of your ancestors off or enslaved them. They killed 99%, they enslaved the other 1%. And then they give you some food back so you can go work for them some more. They're not even doing it because they want you alive. The only reason they keep people alive is to rape kids, to have more kids to rape, and because they don't have better robots to do all the labor for them and shit. That's the only reason to keep them alive. It's just to play these games with them that their dirt species is fucking playing and shit. They're like robots, so there might be something in there somewhere operating these robot shells sometimes. You know, why are they always 6 to 12 feet away from the Goyim robots? Like they need short range wireless communication to control them and shit. Why are they always right beside them other than their groomers? They're definitely groomers, aren't they? That's why we got one beside every one of us. It's because God's a groomer and he's sending groomers. That's what the robots who aren't alive and have no souls are saying. Fucking right. Yeah. God's the most disgusting person on the planet if he's creating that trash. Fucking, so. Yeah, you see, just, they're lying. They're lying. That's all they do. Santa Claus, you see, that's your first clue. For some reason, the robots tell you that pedos bait children with candy. And then the next sentence out their mouth is, Santa's coming. What do you want for Christmas, little boy? What do you want for Christmas, little boy? Fuck, dude. Fucking, ew. That makes it even sicker realizing that that old lady was probably a man. That was so sick. It's like one of those images burned in your head forever. It's like, why does this bitch look like a man? That's disgusting. What the fuck? And then you don't even know what that... You get like a porno mag when you're a kid and you see some Asians doing that and it don't really click. But then later in life you learn Bradley Manning ain't a woman, but sure fucking is trying to act like one. I wonder if that has something to do with where I come from. Agent Smiths, right? How are they having kids? Like I keep saying, was I kidnapped? Obviously they can just make a kid at the clone factory, but you can tell the clones are retarded and they don't like themselves. That's why they harvest our creation to make their movies and their music with and their entire fucking world. Because they can't do anything. That's why all their clone religions are the same fucking thing, re-slop, because they can't invent anything new. They can't edit it out to make it better brainwashing. They got it as far as they could get it 6,000 years ago. And it's still littered with fucking facts that are pointing out what it really is. It's almost like they're designed to get holes in their head and flies to crawl in them. Fucking, except for, that's real. Like, what's going to happen because all this, like, forced sex with them? Why are they going to end up, like, in, like, fucking slave camps and shit eventually? I'm not banking on that because it's so shitty. Like even if they were enslaved, I don't know. I don't know. You give me a whip with some sort of metal spikes on the end of it. Might have some fun that day. I don't know. I don't think I'd want to go that close to them. They're the ones who want to come close to me. Um, I don't know about that. Fucking, I think seeing them is the problem. No, knowing that they're across the ocean 2,000 miles away is a problem now. Fucking. So, yeah. This whole robots are alive, 1 penny back on the dollar shit. Nothing funny about it. I can invent some funny shit if that's supposed to be funny, though. I got some funny stories I'm writing and shit. Fucking, let's see, definitely it'd all be some hit fucking music and shit. You guys think I'd get famous with that? You guys think the jealous ass bitches would allow that? Or you think that they're trash doing everything that it appears they're doing? And if I'm not laying bricks for their bitch ass in their Masonic temple I was helping rebuild, then I wasn't even doing that. I was washing the floors while they laid bricks. They're the bricklayers. Construction workers make money and shit. Fucking, their people, on the other hand, make a different money. They're the type of people who work in the government and outsource that shit to China. They make so much money they can pay someone in China to do their work and still live fancy off the money left over and shit. That's what they do. For some reason, they tell you what they're doing and shit as if they're just dumbass NPC in a video game who are telling you the plot line to the story you're being forced to be in. Yeah, this shit ain't funny. Which that part is the reason that makes me think like, what's gonna steamroll their asses for all that? Like, I mean, what? That would be centuries of them invading the planet with their DNA plague and forcing everyone to date them and have sex with them, as the Bible says in the stories of Esther, for them to do. Yeah. I'd say that it's not funny. Of course, we're dealing with robots with no emotions who say all this shit's funny. Fucking, it's so funny to robots. Fucking robots think shit's funny and they love you too. And they care for you and they want to help you. Fucking man. These are some sick individuals. I was reading. I'm gonna close on this. I was reading that in the history, for some reason, a lot of kings and shit kill their families. And I was like, damn, like, because I was reading some of these other events that happen, and then they're like their parents try to enslave them or something, and then they be like their parents is king, and then they like, I don't know, drug and rape them when they're little or something. I don't know, and then they continue to act stupid their entire lives, and then they like behead their fucking family and shit. Apparently, that's not very uncommon in history for certain people to realize that the people around them are the fucking biggest enemy and not other people from other countries and shit. Apparently, that's pretty big. And you know what? In the racial robots are alive and have souls manual, that's like a huge thing there, isn't it? Don't kill your babies, and well, Satan will say, go against your family, and it's because they're raping their way into your nation, and there's a good chance, whatever nation you're in, that they killed and raped your ancestors, and that's where you came from. And when you find that out, anyone worth his salt is like, well, we got some enemies in our family, don't we? And unless you're just a straight bitch, that's the first thing that came to my mind when I was told when I was little. I was like, damn, so who in my family uh, is the ones who killed off my other family and shit? Who did that? And would you guys think that that story came from the government worshiper? If I had told you that it might have, if I had told you that those two things happened in my life, what's you guys' first thought? The government? Oh, it's probably this government worshiper, isn't it? Bringo, Agent Smith. Literally, it's weird how it's all set up. Like, it makes that movie about that shit. And like where the Agent Smiths are like these evil robots fucking coming into people's lives, and then like but that's Earth's story is they're invaders on stolen land who kill your ancestors and shit fucking, and then blame other countries. They're Middle Earthers who say they're from Europe fucking, and are bombing Middle Earth right now because they want to go back home. Well, why'd you bomb Europe and go to live there? Fucking, why'd you bomb North America and go live there? Fucking, why didn't you just go back home instead of spreading across the world and killing everyone else off and enslaving everyone before you finally go home from your long adventure across your vacation? Fuck, dude. This shit ain't funny. I kind of, you know what? The only thing that even like makes any shred of sense here is that it's being designed to do that shit. Obviously, it's designed to allow these robots to force their way into my life, to drug me with different drugs every 4 years, to change my emotions, to go along with the scenery where I move to a different place, shit, every 7 months, sometimes in the past. And, change all the people around me and shit. Fucking force so many in my life that I don't have time to study one long enough to understand that they're lying about being alive. It was using the abuse and the drugs on the first one, so I had enough time to study to explain away. It was using that religious science mind control of everyone is equal in order to cloak them and from the truth that they are subhumans. The Agent Smith. Wow. Fucking amazing. This is so fun and exciting. It really is, though. You know, I actually, like, I think I like Trump now. Because I said in 2020, whoever kills people from now on, I'm going to follow. Because death is my savior. So, that's that. And I remember last time I said I want to be a Muslim so I can get the other Abrahamic trash to stop talking to me. And it's like, and then so the next day they sent an Arab girl to bait me. And obviously, I think it's funny they're being bombed. I'm not sure if I want to date anyone from any of their religions, because I'm not a robot, so we aren't worshiping robots as living beings or gods, and so we're not doing that. Plus the millions of ignorant things they do. We're not part of pedophilia, or not yet. I mean, you gotta realize children aren't real, so the robots are trying to keep some sort of secret, and like they're trying to keep meat to themselves right now and shit, and feed the living fucking fucking nothing. I know it's this trash America place that's doing that, but I think that's cute because, just the more people they kill, the less there will be. And the less there will be, the better world this will be. They'll have less of a chance of coming around and fucking up my life. And that's the main goal. That's the only way I'll be able to go outside and be free and not be worried is if I go outside and there ain't anyone there. And the first step to that is something like floods or fucking bombs. Quickest route to it. So, fuck yeah, that's exciting. I mean, not really, because there's nothing to be excited about. There's no hope that this trash will someday make amends for why it's just such disgusting trash. It's not even trying to change. We had the 2020 events, and it just kept being more trash after that. We're just it's not funny that they're being bombed. It's a necessity that motherfuckers get erased from the planet. It's not funny. There's no fun to it anymore because it's a job. I've had to become like what the robots claim they are for the cities they haven't created that are being auto-generated. Fucking all the music and movies they haven't created, they claim of a fucking slave. So I think it's cute. I made this before. You see how the robots don't give a shit about anything I say. They just talk right the fuck over me and move past it. And I already said, in 2020, that's it. That's it. It's end. Finish. Goodbye. And they still keep fucking talking to me like I'm gonna make them a living boy someday, or they just milk me. I'll have men milk me. How their ugly breeder whores milk me some more. Take it and give it to their men so their men can have some babies in their uteruses. Whatever trash they're up to, you can tell they're just, ever since 2020, they've still been nothing but filth every time I interact with them. Every action. So I'm on Trump's side now because he's killing people. And that's the only way we're going to get rid of him. I already said this. You see, I shouldn't have to explain myself. But I have to. Because there's a bunch of robots who are acting like they're stupid so they can waste my time. And me turn into one of them sitting around wasting my time repeating words, the same sentences over and over. And the only hope here is their actions are coming back for them. This whole being forced to date people I don't like, being raped by men, this whole entire life being set the fuck up. Does that 9/11, that COVID, that school shooter shit. All of a sudden, one day, the world shifts to like a giant fucking Auschwitz or some shit. But hell. I can see where this hell place comes from because that looks like heaven. That bomb, those bomb blasts, these new ones, the super high quality footage and shit, super high quality AI generated. I not only would love to be in there, but I know plenty of people who need to be in there. I would love it because I'm alive. There's a lot of bad robots who claim that they have emotions, so they claim they wouldn't love it. I think that's cute, and I'm tired of having to talk and explain myself. This was over. I knew this was a waste of time when I was 6, and they just keep talking. The only thing they've done since I was 6 is run this bullshit propaganda. They're living beings and they're great people, and they got 7,000 gods who are just making accidents when it creates them as trash with repetitive patterns that look like a direct attack on my organized, that are an organized and have been. That's called an organized attack. When you see the trash writes on the damn map, they're gonna fucking assault me, and then they do it, and yeah. And then the trash keeps talking to me about their living beings. They don't have the brain power to organize to do shit like that, but they do it like they're NPC in a video game designed to do a quest, a side quest. So it's a, well, this side quest fucking flood the fuckers, destroy their planet with fucking weather. Fucking wasn't a side quest. Fucking, but definitely it was NPC shit. The whole time it's been NPC shit. It's not funny. They're not funny. They're not cute. They're definitely not cute. There's a bunch of AI generated videos, but oh yeah, that's right. They sent some cute person. That's weird how they still have to marionette the puppets in, and the other things that they aren't allowed to do if you're going to be in my life. So it's like it's purposely, it's purposely remaining trash because when I was a kid, they literally taught me to burn trash for fun. Not only this other shit, to laugh at flies crawling in the holes of their families' heads when they die trying to kill me, but I was literally taught you burnt trash. Like the family, you gather all the trash around the house, then you bring it in and you bring it outside to the fire pit, and then you set it on fire and you sit out there watching it and enjoying it. It was the fucking best part. Best part of the fucking weekend. That's odd, I guess. I don't think everyone gets that in their life, do they? Kind of get the idea here that it's setting that shit up. It does the 9/11 shit after they do their bullshit. It does the whole drug in their entire population. It gives cancer to like half the people I fucking know who were invading my life, obviously. I didn't know at the time, but I think that's like a little marker, a watermark it's given them for shit. Like, pay attention to this pattern here because you're gonna question in the future if there's something these people are up to, and they're already gonna have a plague when they come meet you. So spend a few seconds putting that together and figuring out why that might be. Besides working with the government and its religions, it's the same damn thing. All the fucking words they say is a lie. It's the same damn thing, the government and the religion. There's no freedom of religion. It's the same people, every goddamn religion. How the fuck is there a freedom of religion? I can't even find a group. I can't even find an anti-religion group because it's not free of them. They go straight back to worshiping them and shit. Fuck. It's not funny. It's not exciting. It's not interesting. Those are words like they programmed. Those are ideas that literally I wasn't even looking at the pictures the fucking photographers gave us that I was forced to fucking buy and shit. That I was forced to fucking pay for. They pulled the pictures out and brought them over to me and was like, check this out, it's so cool. And I was like, it's not cool. Can you stop telling me it's so cool? And you're about to have your brother fucking try to rape me and shit. It's not cool. Why does it have to be cool? Oh, you have to love something. You have to like something. Well, I like burning trash. We all sat around on the farm and we burned trash every fucking Thursday and shit. Thursday it was nice, free heat, free light. The dog would come. The dog enjoyed it. The dog came by and, you know, fucking the cows and the sheep fucking liked it. That's what I like. Don't know if I like it anything anymore because it would seem like labor. It would seem like, oh, this again. Fucking burn some books. That sounds like fun. Obviously, burning trash encompasses everything, but that sounds like a good idea. I accidentally had a place shut down recently because I suggested that the book they tore up should be burnt, and someone lit it on fire. And they got kicked out. So they didn't. That was a Satanist. So I guess what they were teaching me is that you can't do that. They look scared too. It's so weird because I think like their people are all working together. Obviously, on my end, it feels like the religionistas are all working together to enslave God. Every single one of them, including Einstein and the atheists. That's what it looks like on my end that they're doing. That's what their words look like. You know, God washes their feet and licks their feet and then gives them babies to rape and shit and dates their women and shit. God licks their feet clean. That's not a sign that someone's trying to enslave God. Then you're the one trying to enslave God.